Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and a very warm welcome on behalf of SAPI, the Think Factory. This is Sangeeta Goyal in here to navigate you through today's webinar on AI as a force multiplier in defense. Well, AI or artificial intelligence, which till few years back used to be a thing of dystopian science fictions or fantasy movies, it has come to be a critical part of our lives. With each passing year, this super transformative and revolutionary technology is growing in its adoption, evolution, and capabilities, promising to help us in countless ways in almost all realms of our lives. So be it to boost innovation, to fight discrimination, or manage the health of our planet. We all saw the unbelievable pace at which COVID vaccines were developed last year, thanks to AI. AI is now around everywhere. Often we do not even notice it. In our day-to-day lives, Siri and Alexa can make us laugh by cracking a joke. Our digital twins or doppelgangers can spookily swap us and sit for us in a Zoom webinar like today's. According to a renowned futurist, Ray Kurzweil, computers will have the same level of intelligence as humans by 2029. Very close. Perhaps I'll not be there for exaggerating if I say we are at the inflection point of this planet's history caused by AI-led technological revolution, which no country, no society, no business, no entity, no human can afford to ignore. You ignore and bet me you lag behind. No wonder everybody today seems to be interested in AI. However, the problem is that there are a lot of misconceptions and myths and opacity surrounding the domain. On the one hand of this spectrum are the cynics who call AI a job snatcher or a monster or a terminator in making. There are others who call it next to God. However, in between there are multitudes of people and organizations like us who want clarity, direction, and expert advice when it comes to application of AI in their world life or work life. It is with this in backdrop that SAPI has come up with a series of webinars on demystifying AI. Well, as you know, that SAPI aims to bring together academia, industry, and active citizens to produce actionable knowledge. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is with the same intent that we have boarded today a luminary of domain experts with huge hands-on experience on the subject. Please join me in welcoming our chief guest, Padmashri Professor Bimal Roy, Chairman National Statistical Commission, and a renowned encryption expert. Joining him is Colonel Samrendra Mohan Kumar, again a renowned AI expert and co-founder and MD of MidCat Advisory Services, for his keynote address. I also welcome other esteemed speakers, including two CEOs of successful AI startups, Mr. Alok Tiwari and Mr. Sarang Nerkar. Last not least, we acknowledge very graceful presence of all other dignitaries and very special audience comprising of bureaucrats, researchers, professors, bureaucrats, and friends from forces. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pradeep Gupta, the founder of SAPI, please permit me give a little background to him. Mr. Gupta, he's the founder of SAPI, an ardent AI lover. He's a former bureaucrat who has worked in many capacities with many dignitaries. He brings with him huge experience in defense production and border management. Ladies and gentlemen, as we approach towards the end of today's webinar, we have been flooded with questions. I have to really think from where to begin with. Here is a question. Can I begin with Professor Roy himself?
Yes, sure. Sure.
Okay. So, Professor Roy, this is a question from Mr. Sarang himself. What is the relationship between quantum computing and AI?
Oh, okay, no, okay. So quantum computing makes our life a little faster. There's no other relationship. So So what a conventional computer or even supercomputer can do, a quantum computer can do much, much faster. So the only thing I'll get that the AI decision making will be very quick. So if now an algorithm runs and takes say 2 minutes to make a decision, and then it will probably take a fraction of a second to make a decision. So it will make our decision making process very fast. Otherwise, it doesn't affect the AI algorithms as such, except making it fast.
Thank you, Professor Roy.
May I add something to Professor Roy?
Sure.
That the classical computers work on some binaries, that 0, 1. And the quantum computers, which are taking shape, evolving, are not in this binary form. So that's what there is a very wide canvas available for quantum computer to process information. Say it is been tested, Sycamore, that of the Google and other platforms, they have made that the algorithm, the mathematical puzzle which were to be resolved in years are being done in seconds by the quantum computer. That's what. It's basically the fundamental principle of processing information. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I acknowledge the presence of Major General Director Dr. Pawan Anand, ABSM retired. He's also there. So very, very welcome. This question is targeted at Colonel Sam, I believe. Yeah. What role will humans play if everything will be done by AI? What exactly do you mean by force multiplier? Colonel Sam.
Force multiplier is 2 into 2 is 4. But if 2 into 2 becomes 22, then it is a force multiplier. So that is as simply as I can put. And what will humans do? What will humans do? We'll ask some futurists. If I had answers, then we would. Yeah, one thing is sure that we have to kind of guard against the giving absolute powers to AI to make lethal decision making.
Yeah.
So that we do not kind of the Terminator robots, that does not become a reality. And then we do not create, one more problem for ourselves. We love creating problems for ourselves, be it climate change, be it viruses, be it biological, nuclear, chemical weapons, things which can destroy us over many times. So don't need one more. So that's all. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Mr. Sarang, this question is for you. What are your thoughts on sustainability beyond defense sector, since time and investment required is very high? Mr. Sarang?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. It's a very relevant question, actually, especially for young and new entrants, because investment is indeed fairly high, and getting returns on investment takes a very long time because of the procurement procedures. So what we have done in our case is we've had a two-pronged approach where we've focused on defense as well as agriculture in the civilian space. And that would be my suggestion to any innovator or entrepreneur trying to work in the defense space, to look for some alternate application in the civilian space, because a lot of examples were given today as well, where there are civilian parallels for similar problems. And any civilian application should also be looked at for sustainability. In our case, the 10 patents that you mentioned are actually process patents and not design patents. So we've applied those technologies in agriculture as well as defense, and that has helped us, gain some revenue so that we can sustain. Like Colonel Sam also mentioned, we are also bootstrapped actually, and being bootstrapped is extremely difficult when there is no revenues coming in. So certainly, civilian space applications should be pursued in parallel with defense, especially for new entrants and emerging technologies. I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Yeah, surely. This question is for Professor Bimal Roy again. Data privacy is a major concern when it comes to AI. Sir, what is the government's take on this, and what would be your suggestion for ensuring that AI applications are ethical and responsible?
I think I already answered that in my talk. So what we are trying to have in the government level, we are going to probably have a data dissemination policy. So I think probably in one of the next parliament session, the bill will come. So I really worked for that. And that is going to put data adequately addressing the privacy issues. And then I told the other problem is now more challenging for the community, the academic community. How do we use AI on this data where privacy is preserved? So that means I don't have the raw data. On this obfuscated or masked or encrypted data, can I use the AI algorithms? So this is a challenge. I think the startups should look into it. I think there's a lot of business in this one. And even academically, we don't have many solutions at this, I must admit. We have very little solution to that. So that's a challenge for the academic community and also for the industry to take up such issue, because you are not going to get a pure raw data, maybe not for many applications. How do you work with this encrypted data? And privacy is a concern, so people may not like to give you data, but privacy is a concern. So that's a challenge.
We have Mr. Kevin D'Souza. His question, Colonel D'Souza is there. Can you ask this question, sir?
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to thank all the panelists for the very in-depth insights. But I have some very deep questions to ask, basically about implementation of AI in India. So there are 4 questions, and I'm directing them to all the panelists. We can, whoever feels that they can answer, please go ahead. So the first question is, what is the path to successfully implement AI and the challenges, especially the cost factor, which India has to face considering the limited resources that we have? The second one is, India is different from the advanced countries in that there is an abundance of cheap labor and, sadly enough, even lives. We all know that, we've got a large army and we've got a large number of persons who can join the army, and we can deploy them on the border. And there's a scarcity of funds, technology, and natural resources. So would AI therefore provide a clear benefit to cost advantage, and how? The third question is, new technology in defense is only useful if our adversaries cannot counter it. With China leading us here, what is the likelihood we can match China to do the thing A on our own and B with help from the advanced countries? And the fourth question is, are there any potential spin-ons from the civil AI applications to defense AI, and which are these? So these are the 4 questions. I hope if Dr. Goel can share this on text also with the panelists, and I think we'll find it useful.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, your first question is, what is the path to successfully implement AI and the challenges, especially in terms of costs in India, which India has to face considering the very limited resources we have? So may I hand in this question to, yeah?
I think Sam.
I will just try to put all of it in about 5 sentences, because already slightly behind time and just in respect of time. So Niti Aayog had, so just keeping that India, poor country, we have abundant manpower and all that, putting all of it, that prelude together, brought out by Mr. D'Souza. I think the Niti Aayog has already brought out, and the Prime Minister has been emphatic in saying that we are using AI for all. So our focus area is going to be the socially responsible sectors, the healthcare, the education, the smart cities, transport, logistics. So think agriculture. So our AI focus has been on that, and even our technology focus has been on that. Second is that cheap labor. I don't agree fully, because earlier we were purely competing on cost. Now it is cost versus quality. Some of the best talent available in the world is found in cities of Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Gurgaon, Pune, Mumbai. So there is, I think, a good cumulative value proposition of India, which is emerging. 3 is, it is not whether China is ahead of us, so we should not stop. So it's not a choice. So we have to continuously keep investing and keep getting ahead. Now, whether we are at 30% of China or 160% of China, that will determine, that will be decided on how much investments do we make. And fourth is that, again, whole of the nation approach is not a whether we should get into it or not. We must get into it. Industry, academia, government, everyone has to collaborate. I think there are practical difficulties, which I said, just because of the subtle cultural differences, the de-emphasis of military and the South Bloc, and the C emphasis of Bangalore or Silicon Valley. So I think that's a problem. So I think, and then fifth is the partnerships will be the way to go forward, the civil military partnerships, the partnership of democracies, and even in partnership with, China and all, to evolve some standards where it threatens the whole humankind. So there'll be issues on which we'll cooperate. There'll be issues on which we will compete. So I think the show will go on. So that's my 2 penny bit on all 4 questions.
Yes, I second it. I second it.
Yes. Yes, sir.
No, I second Colonel Sam.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I also have the same opinion.
Yeah. Alok, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, definitely.
Alok, there is a question, Alokji, for you. And this is, I think, should be our last question, though many questions are there. But then because we want to finish it on time and we have already exceeded. So, Alokji, this is for you. That you represent the corporate sector. However, and you have given a lot of good ideas, but how you are going to sell these ideas to those in the corridors of power?
Well, see, the thing is, it's not like, idea to sell it to, to government or somebody who is in the power, but it's more like, bringing the AI to the best use of it, which can be, utilized for the, our defense system as well as for the corporate. And I'll just, add on to the Colonel Sam. I mean, he has definitely, given the absolute answer to Colonel D'Souza's questions. But I will just add on one point on that when we talk about in terms of that civil applications. So even on the civil applications, there's lots of things which can be utilized without adding on the, any additional bigger cost or on this. With the use of AI, it can be more efficient. So even we look into that at the airport and the most of the railway stations, now we have the scanners, and they scans the, whenever the passengers goes out and in, then their, luggage is scanned and they are scanned. There is scanned data that is with the sensors and all that is stored somewhere. And if same data, if it can be, the historical data trained with the right AI model, and I think we have the Professor Bimal can add on to it, that can help in the more precise solution where, like, maybe when the humans are monitoring, if they miss out something, but that will be able to flag out, and that can be making it more efficient. So it's not that, just we are replacing the human, but we can make them more efficient on that sense. And that is the thing, like, with the use of, so it's like more on creating the awareness, adding into Sangeeta ma'am's questions. So it's like when you create the awareness and when they need that kind of a solution, definitely they will reach out to you, I mean, who is expert on that particular area. But the key thing is right now, when we look into the widely in the India or any other emerging countries, there's lots of lack into the awareness about the artificial intelligence applications and how it can be applied. So it's more on like, creating awareness and making them aware that what could be done with the, AI, with the use of artificial intelligence applications and the data they are having, how efficiently they can use that data to improve their operations and then make it like more secure and all. So this is the main thing, that how we can put it across from the industry perspective and to the government. But definitely ultimate decision is theirs. They have to look into that, if there's a definitely use for them, and when they acknowledge, then definitely can move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Alok Tiwari.
I agree to what Alok and Professor Bimal Roy and Colonel Sam has told, that, and it is like this only. There is no choice, and if you want to do, you have to do. The cost is not that very big component. We have the data, large amount of data, maybe in one specific field, or we may have, we may not have. We have the skills. So essential gradients are there. So why should not we take advantage of embracing AI and let this AI thing seep into our systems? And wherever we human beings are lacking, we can do it. Like Aadhaar data is there. It's a huge amount of data. Now human beings cannot, they would have flipped through pages for tracking the data, but the computer and the AI does it in seconds. So that's the beauty of AI. So we have to do it. There is no choice.
There are experts like General Dr. Pawan Anand and all in the audience. There are many, many experts I can pick out in the audience from military side. I think military headquarters and 3 South, General Anand says that military headquarters is also looking for AI application. So maybe Alok can connect offline. And then also,
yes.
And also whether we can, I think.
You are right that his application of tunnel detection, we have seen it's a big bottleneck in the government. The army and the BSF also are struggling to get this technology. But if his idea works and he needs some help in building up on that idea, it will be wonderful. It will be wonderful.
So I think we have everything in silos. We have talent, we have capital also somewhere else. So there is no dearth of capital for AI applications. I can tell you AI startups. So everything is there. There is a need also. So I think we need to bring together. So I think this is a great step by Gupta ji and Dr. Goyal and everyone else who is. So I think this is a great initiative, bringing all stakeholders of one platform and then moving towards some logical.
Colonel Sam, this was my idea, my learning for 30 years in defense production, that it is this is not only in AI, but transport technology is a bigger canvas where we can work together and bring out many things. I mean, conceptualizing better composite materials in lab through virtual reality tools. We can do a lot of things. I did not discuss because there was no time. But as we go, and this kind of platform, we are all of us are there now. We know each other, and at least we can carry forward whoever is willing to. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, if you all permit me, time to wind up. I'll take over from where Colonel Sam left. And when he said that a couple of years ago, President Putin, he warned Russians that the countries which led in the technologies using artificial intelligence will dominate the globe. Well, he seems to be so prophetic. Our researchers at SAPI inform us that he was not wrong. He is not wrong. If we want to lead, we need to decode, deploy AI in whatever sector aggressively, timely, and agilely we can as a country, as a society. Countries like China, USA, and even Israel, they have already taken a big leap. So time for us starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a very interesting session full of insights and practical takeaways for both policymakers and practitioners. Many myths were busted, many misconceptions dispelled. It was a synergistic attempt of all of us and you there. Mr. Sarang, while he nailed the challenges and opportunities in creating a conducive environment by the government, Mr. Tiwari's idea, including tunnel detection, are really valuable and may be made good use of by forces. Colonel Sam stressed upon agility and speed and also warned us about the flip side of AI and very dangerous side indeed. Professor Roy, it's always such a pleasure to listen to you and we are looking forward to many such talks in future on many more subjects. Really, you enlightened us how cryptography's integration into AI could be used not only to improve and automate attack techniques, but also to create security proofs or to uncover errors in security. It's very crystal clear from today's session that there's need for collaborative public-private partnership approach if we successfully want to deploy AI in every sector, including a strategic sector like defense. An important takeaway for policymakers indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, like it or not, soon AI is going to be all pervasive and maybe eerily intrusive like uncool. And yet there is no denying to the fact that this is incredible technology, which is poised for a paradigm shift in our lives and all our walks like never ever before. So be it agriculture, education, finance, commerce, etc., etc., etc. Well, at SAPI, this is just the beginning towards spreading knowledge. This webinar series on demystifying AI will continue. Next session, we are lining up on border security and we would request for your continued support and patronage. We would also request you to please visit us on our website, securityandpolicyinitiatives.com, where we have publications on code of ethics on human augmentation and AI and challenges in public policy. There is a space for blog in case you want to publish or you blog, then please approach us, please WhatsApp or email us. We would be very happy to host you there on our platform. We have a very interesting interactive problem and solution section. Kindly engage there. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of SAPI and its founders, I extend hearty thanks to all of you, especially Professor Bimal Roy, Colonel Sam, both our young CEOs, all other esteemed guests. Sir, it was not possible without your presence. We feel very humble, we feel very blessed and very, very nice indeed that you decided to patronize us. We are looking forward to your kind patronage in future. Have a very good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Only in the end, I would say that it is not end, it is the beginning of our journey and joint venture and synergy. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be interacting more often then.
Namaskar.
It's a series and we'll be continuing. Thank you.